If your trucks drive through New York State, then you need to know about New York's highway use tax system, how it works, who's required to follow it, and what happens if you don't pay. Hello and welcome to a new video series for fleet and operations managers. My name is Matt Spozo, CEO and co-founder at Carmalink. We build easy-to-use fleet technology like dash cams, GPS tracking, and telematics. Today we are talking about New York State's highway use tax, or HUT. And because we're going to be covering a lot of material in this video, it's been cut up into chapters, so feel free to skip to whatever section is most relevant to you. To give you a little background, HUT is a tax levied on commercial vehicles that drive on New York roads. The collected tax revenue contributes to New York State's Highway and Bridge Trust Fund to help maintain New York's road infrastructure. Think of this as having a toll for commercial vehicles on all roads in New York. Let's cover what vehicles fall into the HUT requirement. Basically, there are two different types of rules that New York State uses to determine which vehicles need to be registered for HUT, and it depends on your filing method, which I'll be covering in the next section. Generally, there are three factors that New York State looks at. If you are driving a truck that has an unloaded weight of more than 8,000 pounds. If you are driving a tractor that has an unloaded weight of more than 4,000 pounds, you're also required to register for HUT. Finally, if you're driving a truck or a tractor with a gross weight of more than 18,000 pounds. If any of your trucks are over the weight requirement and drive on New York roads, they will have to register and pay for HUT, even if your business is not based in New York. Now let's walk through the steps you need to take to register your trucks. First, you need to establish an account, and for this you'll need to file Form TMT39, New Application for Highway Use Tax. Once your application has been approved, you will receive credentials for New York's one-stop credentialing and registration system. From this OSCAR portal, you will be able to register your trucks online. After you register your trucks, you'll receive a HUT decal that needs to be affixed to the body or the bumper of the truck in a conspicuous place, ideally near the license plate. Now I'm going to cover your filing options for HUT. There are two methods, the gross weight method and the unloaded weight method. The filing method determines which set of requirements is applied to your vehicles. Generally, the gross weight method is used and it has two different options, the straight line option and the heaviest weight option. When using the straight line option, you will compute your tax based on the taxable miles for each vehicle you operate during the period. If you operate more than one truck or tractor on New York State public highways during the reporting period, you may use the heaviest weight option. So to recap, basically the straight line option, you are recording each vehicle on one line versus the heaviest weight option where you're recording a group of vehicles on each line that match the same configuration of weight. This is done twice, once for the laden weight and again for the unladen weight.
The thing is, with laden weight, you have to have records of it. Whether it be you have every bill of lading, scale tickets. I was loaded here, I unloaded here, I picked up here, and this is what I loaded. Some sort of proof that this is the miles I ran in New York State that are empty.
Regardless of which method you choose to file with, the record-keeping requirements are the same. Since the tax is based on the mileage traveled on New York public highways, you need to keep track of miles driven inside New York State and all miles driven outside of New York State. The mileage you report to New York State needs to have records to back it up, such as trip tickets, hours of service records if your drivers are required to maintain rods, driver time cards, GPS reports from your telematics system. I can speak as a telematics service provider. We keep a minimum of 4 years of trip records for clients who are required to register with HUT in accordance with New York's record-keeping requirements. How often you need to file depends on how much you owe. If you pay more than $4,000, you can be paying monthly. If you're paying less than $4,000, you can do that quarterly. If you owe $250 or less, you might have the option to pay annually with the tax department's approval. And if you don't pay, there are some pretty stiff penalties in New York State. If you fail to file your return or pay your tax on time, you'll be charged an additional 10% of the tax due plus 1% for each additional month. If you drive through New York State without registering your vehicle for HUT and don't have a decal, you will be subject to a ticket and fine of up to $2,000 for the first offense. If you operate a vehicle with an actual gross weight or unladen weight above what's listed on your HUT certificate, you are subject to criminal penalties. Up to $250 for the first conviction second conviction up to $500, and up to 10 days imprisonment. If you falsify information on your return, you can be fined up to $250,000 at the federal level. So basically, don't do it. By now, you might be wondering, are there any exemptions from HUT? Well, sort of. If your vehicles are under the weight requirements, you don't have to do anything for HUT. This might be something you want to consider next time you are purchasing a vehicle. Also, if you are an automotive fuel carrier, there's a whole separate set of rules that you have to follow in New York State, which kind of supersede HUT, and I'm not really going to be covering that in this video. And lastly, if you only make occasional trips through New York, you can avoid registering for HUT by obtaining what's known as a trip certificate of registration for a $25 fee. The catch is, you can't use more than 10 trip certificates per year, so it's really only for limited use cases. There's more we could cover in this video about HUT. This is more of an overview, which we've distilled down to a one-page PDF. Please visit carmalink.com/download to get your free copy today. If there's another topic you'd like us to cover, leave a comment or message us on Twitter @CarmalinkInc. Be sure to subscribe to see more content like this. Until next time, thanks.